party people in the place to be. What's good? It's your main man, Uncle Freezy. Welcome to Chop It Up. I'm joined by producer extraordinaire, Chuck Allen. Chuck, how you doing, bro?
I'm doing really good on this Friday evening. How about
I'm on that something and alcohol. That's all I can say at this point. Your Felipe 210 is in the building. South BK, what's good? DSJ, what's good? What's good? What's good? So we back at it again, man. I guess eventually we'll be joined by Ron from Steel Knicks fans. But we're back at it again. The topic has come up again. People want us, fans, Vibsters, want us to have the continued conversation about the greatest R&B group of all time. So in your mind, when we say the greatest R&B group of all time, what's the first group that comes to mind?
Temptations?
Wow. Wow.
The Temptations, Delphonics, Isley Brothers.
Can I add some spinners?
How could I not say that?
Can I add the OJs? I'm sorry?
The Four Tops?
Of course. But we are led to believe that the greatest R&B group of not just our time or of their time, but of all time is Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, and Mike. If they got the girl, who cares who you like? New edition.
It's not even April, ladies and gentlemen.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know if they're in that conversation. If they are, they further down the list for sure. That's not a knock. That's not a knock on their impact. But I'm just saying, when you put it all in perspective.
I don't understand it. Chuck, say for instance, Halle Berry comes to you and proposes. Like she just comes to you like, Chuck Allen, will you marry me? Right? Y'all plan out this beautiful wedding. And she says, Chuck, you know what will set this day off right? I want to have Bobby Brown singing our wedding.
I'm gonna look her dead in her eyes and ask her if she slept with him before. Because if you have slept with him and you suggested that, then you're on drugs.
Right.
Because that ain't happening.
Ron is in the building. What's
Ron
good?
is in the building. Salute, sir. How you doing?
I am good. What's happening? Hopefully y'all can hear me okay.
Yeah.
You're coming great.
All right.
You looking good, bro. Did you hit the number?
I wish I did, man. It's not for lack of thinking about it. I don't play, but I think about it.
Yeah. So we started the conversation with this. Someone told me that the greatest group of all time, not of our time or their time or this time, but of all time, is New Edition, the greatest R&B group of all time, because they had hits together, they split apart like Voltron and had hits, they came back together like Voltron and had hits, they persisted over time, they had albums in 3 different decades that all had hot joints on it.
Hey.
And I say New Edition may not be in the top 20.
Oof. That's
Yeah.
rough. That's rough. I don't know if I agree with that one. I think New Edition is a phenomenal group. I think their legacy and what they have spurred is tremendous. I mean, don't forget, if it wasn't for New Edition, we wouldn't have another Bad Creation.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
No, but seriously, if it wasn't for New Edition, we wouldn't have BBD. Okay, we wouldn't have Ralph Tresvant with a couple of spin-off songs. And listen, Sensitivity was the jam, but Do What I Gotta Do and Break a Heart, that's my joint. We wouldn't have the big correlation in success for Johnny Gill, because say what you will, Johnny Gill was the man before he got to New Edition, but what springboarded his career was being a part of New Edition and then going solo after. He had already maximized his likeness. And then Bobby Brown. I mean, come on. I mean,
Thank you.
Bobby. And let's not forget, I mean, would they have been discovered on their own? Probably. But Boyz II Men, The Road Through Michael Bivins.
I'm giving New Edition all the credit for Boyz II Men. Boyz II Men get no credit for being able to be discovered, because they had been a group since the end of 1984 through the beginning of 1985. Motown Philly came out in the 90s. So I'm giving all the credit for Boyz II Men to New Edition. But you know who else I'm giving New Edition credit for? Yvette Nicole Brown.
Yvette Nicole Brown. Freezy. You got me stumped.
I'm a stumper, bro. I'm a stump. I do this. And when you Google Yvette Nicole Brown, the first thing that's gonna come to your mind is, that's the smell of clean. Yes, that chick. That chick.
But how?
She can sing, and Michael Bivins discovered her.
Oh.
Yvette Nicole Brown. You see her in a lot of stuff.
Huh.
She can sing her backside off. That's the sound of clean.
You got me on that one. And shout out to Freezy once again, and shout out to Chuck. I didn't even get it. What's up, my dude? Yeah, man. I didn't. Yvette Nicole Brown. You got me on that one. Because when I hear Nicole Brown, I don't think of anybody being discovered by Michael Bivins. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
Yeah. Huh.
So
wow.
So I give Michael Bivins and New Edition credit for a lot of stuff, including Another Bad Creation. And I think if that group knew what that name would sound like in 2022, they would have chosen a different name. Another Terrible Creation. Another Trash Creation.
Hey, man.
And don't forget though, and Ron, don't forget what's my man, Candyman? Oochie Coochie La La La, Oochie Coochie. Don't forget them.
Oh, MC Breed.
Yeah.
I think it's MC Breed or MC Brains. MC Brains, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe it's MC Brains. Yeah.
Yeah. While we giving Michael Bivins credit for Boyz II Men, let's give him credit for everything he did. That's the smell of clean. Yeah, that's also Michael Bivins. and another trash creation that's also Uncle Business.
Come on, man. Aisha was the joint at the time, man.
Yeah.
Wow. MC
Yeah.
Brains. That was Brains. Okay, yeah. Crap.
MC Brains.
Woo. Man,
Right.
that wasn't it.
No, that was not. That was not it. Oochie coochie la la la. Oochie coochie. Chuck, where is R&B? Where does R&B stand where the hook of an R&B song is Oochie coochie la la la? Would you had let that leave the studio?
Yeah, this is the 80s. I'm letting it fly.
Okay.
I'm letting
Some
it-
people
let it
they was
fly.
letting it fly.
Zit, 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 zit.
Oh, that was
Zit,
80s.
zit, zit, zit.
Keith Cowboy.
Okay.
That was definitely 80s. Keith Cowboy, bro. That's definitely 80s. Definitely 80s. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so the conversation about the greatest R&B group of all time, I think it changes from year to year. I as a gatekeeper of the art want to put an end to it. And so, Ron, what I was saying to Chuck, I offered this to Chuck. I'll offer it to you. You and the missus are renewing your vows, and you can pick one singer out of the greatest R&B group of all time. In this case, we're going to say New Edition. You and the missus are renewing your vows, say at Niagara Falls. All the family is there. And Bobby Brown is about to show up and sing at your wedding.
Not at my wedding.
I know.
Yeah. He could be one of the acts. He's not gonna sing my wedding song though.
He's got to sing your wedding song, bro.
Oh hell no.
So how can we say he's one of the he's in the greatest group of all time, and we don't want him to perform?
Hey, but you threw me the caveat. You throw me the bone. I'm gonna say I won't be Bobby Brown, but I'll put Johnny Gill up there. Johnny Gill can sing something for my wedding song. He can do that. That's fine. Early Johnny Gill, not the over singing one.
Right.
Not the Luther one.
Right. Right.
So hold on. If I can get one member of New Edition,
Man, you ain't even
singing
said
my
hello.
wedding-
You ain't even said hello.
Well, pardon so. Salute to everybody in the chat. Salute to the panel, Uncle Freezy, Chuck Allen, Ron, still Knicks fans. Listen, if I can get one member, can I please get Ricky Bell to sing the end of "Is This the End" at my wedding? Perfect song.
Wait, is this the
Perfect
end?
song at the wedding. I want to know, is this the end, girl?
Okay.
At your wedding.
At my wedding, renewing the vows.
I don't know if I want to Mo looking at I don't want a song called "Is This the End" at my wedding. It's like we leaving a church headed for the lawyer's office. Is this the end? Are you my friend? Ooh, 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 ooh. Is this the end? I want to know.
Perfect song.
I want to know. Is this the end? Into what?
Perfect song.
Into what?
Hey, listen, it could be different things. It could be, is this the end of my search for my one true love, or is this the end from the beginning? Like, we already know where it's gonna go.
Or is it the end of your freedom in your life and everything else? That can be looked at differently.
The ball and chain, yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you. If I gotta have a song like that that's gonna sum up what the day is like, I would rather have Case sing a song called "Happily Ever After."
Well, who wouldn't?
Couldn't
I
this
like
be? You remember the song by "Happily Ever After" by Case?
Yeah, Beyonce's in the video.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, look, I'm telling you, I would rock with Johnny singing, right? But
Right.
and just to be fair, to make it a New Edition argument, I would even make him sing a New Edition song. It would be "Boys to Men," because I think that journey, being up there, saying your vows, entering into marriage life, it's a journey from boys to men. You growing up,
So
taking
Johnny,
the next step.
but Johnny Gill is not a member of New Edition.
Oh, hey, cut it out! You stop it right there, Uncle Freezy. You s-
In the
okay,
back
he's not
of
an
Ron's
original
mind,
member.
in the back of Ron's mind, while he's talking about a Johnny Gill song, what he's really thinking of is "Rub You the Right Way" during the wedding reception.
Yo, why this dude had an ironing board on his jacket? Remember that metal ironing board on his jacket?
I don't know what that was about,
I don't know what that was about, bro.
or love in the elevator. But
Oh,
I digress.
oh,
I digress.
oh,
Yeah, listen.
oh my God.
Yeah,
So
well,
first of all, my man is not a member of New Edition, bro.
come on, man.
Time
How
out.
can
I'm
you
not
say
gonna go
that?
I'm not going to go that far. Is Dennis Edwards a part of Temptation?
Mm,
Um,
mm.
right? Was Dennis Edwards a part of another group after the Temptations?
Yeah, the Temptations.
With Temptation members.
Yeah. No. The Temptations is that was a legal thing. Johnny Gill was first a part. Him and Stacey Lattisaw recorded albums together as a duo,
Yeah, that's right.
right?
Yeah, they were the perfect combination.
Perfect combination. Touche. I feel you. And then Johnny Gill was about to do his album on Motown, which would have been garbage because all his albums before that were trash. Right? We know this. We don't want to make something up. Johnny Gill couldn't sell cookies at a Girl Scout convention. Right?
Be right back.
But he got with New Edition, raised his profile, and all of a sudden he's the hot guy. But Johnny Gill left New Edition, and joined other groups. Johnny Gill is not a member of New Edition. He is a singer for hire.
So Johnny Gill is LeBron James of the R&B world.
Yes.
Wow.
Did Johnny Gill not join other groups after he left New Edition?
Well, then we can't say he's LeBron James. We have to say he's a Robert Horry.
Yeah. I don't want to put Johnny Gill in New Edition. Johnny Gill was with New Edition for 3 albums, right? We all know the 3 albums, right? The good ones. All the other New Edition albums are suspect at best, maybe even poor. Think about this. Chuck, let me ask you this. What group would you rather listen to vocally? New Edition or LSG?
LSG.
That's not even close, right?
No, not even.
Y'all gotta cool it now.
Hey, I need some. I'm about to get somebody on the telephone, man.
Y'all are crazy, man. Listen,
Ron, did you get it yet?
Yo, man, y'all crazy, bro. Look, I hear what you're saying, Freezy, but let me tell you, it would be one thing if Johnny Gill just jumped into the group and he was cool it now, and doing all that stuff, which he did. But normally, as when they did the shows, they would kind of X him out of that part, and they would do their thing and only bring him in for like the songs that he was really a part of. But because he could dance better than Bobby, he got included more in those songs because Bobby couldn't keep up with the steps and stuff. But my point is, it'd be one thing if he just jumped in and just sang the songs that they like to sing and was part of the bubblegum regime, the bubblegum pop. But he came in and helped cultivate their sound. He changed their sound. He gave them an edgier sound, a more soulful R&B type sound. So I think for that, he deserves more credit and should be looked at as a part of the group. because it's not like he just came in and acquiesced and just jumped in and did what they were doing. He helped. Once they got him, Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis, all these people that said, "Oh, now we can write differently. Now we can take them to a different level."
Right. Name a New Edition hit that didn't include Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. That's modern.
Yeah.
Boy,
Somebody please say Hot Tonight so I can.
oh no.
Hey, I like Hot Tonight. I don't know if it's a hit. It's not a
Bum,
hit,
bum,
but I
bum.
like it. I like it though. Damn. Oh, listen. Home wasn't Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis.
Home Again?
Home Again.
Nah, that was Jimmy Jam, and Terry Lewis.
That
Was it?
Yeah,
Damn, they good.
Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis, Trackmasters. Yeah, the Biff 10 family. Yeah, that. Yeah.
All New Edition is, bro. I hate to break it to you, Ron, but all New Edition is a Honey, I Shrunk the Kids version of the SOS Band.
That's rough. That is a rough
That
one.
was all.
Yeah.
That is a rough one. I don't know, man.
The
I don't
Honey,
know
I
about
Shrunk
that.
the Kids version of the SOS Band. New Edition wishes they were Tavares. A penny for your thought, a nickel for your kiss.
That was
A
my
dime
joint, though.
if you tell me if you love me. Yeah. New Edition.
Although- Is it just me? Every time I used to hear, I was young. Every time I heard that song, I always thought it was the Force MDs. I don't know why. I don't know.
You know what made the Force MDs dope though? Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis.
I think we found a common thread here, folks.
You know what made the SOS Band dope? Y'all know what I'm going to say. Y'all know what I'm going to go. Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis.
I just wanted to hear you say it. Hey,
No, think about this. If you bought if the 5 or 4 of us, however many in the chat, all of us, we bought tickets to see New Edition, right, in the 80s before Johnny Gill, and Ralph couldn't perform, would you go to that concert?
no, I wouldn't.
No.
Oh,
My parents
wait,
couldn't
hold
get
on.
me there.
Hold on, wait. You said in the 80s?
In the 80s.
I'm gonna say no, but maybe
with the caveat if Bobby Brown was there.
Well, yeah, if Bobby's there, he can sing his parts fine. But I think a young Ralph, his voice it was special, right? But I think Ricky might have been able to hold some of them parts back then, like when his voice was younger. I think he could have did a good job. But I wouldn't have gone. No, it wouldn't have been on. I mean, it was free. Maybe.
Yeah.
Ricky would have snatched the mic and you would have heard crickets.
Yes. Yes. And
What do you think? Wait, hold on. What do you think, Chuck? Chuck looked like he was about to say something. Oh, maybe not.
I don't necessarily. I think New Edition. I put New Edition above like Ready for the World. Or,
what?
They had like 4 songs, man. That's it. They only had like 4 songs, so I put them above them. Now, would I go to a Ralph Tresvant-less New Edition show in the 80s? No way.
No.
What are we there for? To listen to a bunch of cats being drowned on stage? No.
Basically.
So listen, one thing I do want to give New Edition credit for, they were the first R&B and hip hop group. In essence.
Yeah.
because everything that they did correlated with you had of course Ralph and Ricky singing, um and always had Michael Bivins and at times
Rendezvous.
Ronnie DeVoe rapping.
Mm-hmm.
And this is before Shaka Khan's I Feel For You record, because they did that in 83. I Feel For You came out in 84. And it was self-contained. So you didn't need a feature from Melly Mel. You basically just had everybody in pocket already. So I will give credit to them for being the first literal R&B and hip hop group.
I ain't giving them credit for that. because I heard a song in 1980 when a blonde chick from Europe said, "Fat Fire Freddy says everybody's fly." Anybody remember that?
Was that Blondie?
Yes.
Oh.
3 years earlier.
Yeah, but that wasn't a consistent thing. That was like a one-off for her.
But Shaka Khan didn't have rapping no either, DSJ. She was funk soul, remember?
Yeah.
I Feel For You was a collabo by the industry with Prince and Stevie Wonder and Rufus and Shaka Khan and Melly Mel.
Very true. Very true. But like I said, that's what I'm saying. As far as that was a feature, that was a one-off. And with them, everything that they've done as far as from the Popcorn Love and the Cool It Now, the Count Me Out, everything consistently had, we're gonna infuse hip hop with the R&B, and that's gonna be the mantra. That's how we're pushing a group to this 80s generation, and it worked. I mean, because again, look at the fact that we're having the argument of them being one of the greatest R&B groups, because they were able to spawn so much, as far as their legacy. There's more to them than just the R&B. It's what they created for the sake of the music as a whole. So, I mean, for them to be able to continuously have that being a part of their niche before any other groups were doing anything like that, I gotta give them that credit. I gotta give them that at least.
I ain't giving New Edition nothing, bro. And that's just. I think New Edition. When I ask, because I'm a fan of New Edition, right? I am. I'm a fan, a longtime fan, probably lifelong. But I understand their place, right? I understand their place in the culture, right? Like if me and Mo go to Myrtle Beach to renew our vows, Bobby Brown ain't singing that. I'll push Bobby Brown fat behind down. And he try to grab a microphone. Man, if you don't get your fat, drunk, tipsy, I'll push
But
Bobby
he might
Brown.
sing Girlfriend.
It's exactly. Yeah, exactly. Bobby Brown, bro. Come on, bro. And Johnny Gill is not even a member of New Edition. He is a gun for hire. That's all Johnny Gill is. Johnny Gill was with Stacey Lattisaw before New Edition and was solo. New Edition got together. New Edition took a break, right, from each other after, whatever after the fiasco tour. Johnny Gill left right from there and joined LSG and went platinum again. Are we saying Johnny Gill is New Edition when he was in all these other groups?
I'm saying another way to prove that LeBron James of R&B is Johnny Gill, because you went and formed a super team with Keith Sweat and Gerald Levert, the same way you left Cleveland to go to Miami.
He left Deion Waiters and Tristan Thompson to go play with Real Talent.
That's right. It's a rough room, boy.
I stayed here tonight.
Gee.
We'll call him LeBron Gill from now on.
Ronnie Gill.
Oh, this is tough, man. Listen, I can't do that, man, because you know, if New Edition didn't have that solo success, then the conversation is easy. They're not even in the category. But with that solo success of all the members doing certain things, yes, I know some of it is limited, but
Right.
it really elevates the type of talent that they had in the group. Were they singing? No,
No.
they're not singers, but they're
Right.
good performers, you know, if you want to say that.
Right.
And you know, they made some catchy hits.
Like B2K.
I would take anybody in New Edition vocally, even Ronnie, over any member of B2K.
What I'm gonna say,
The verses definitely prove that.
and, and disproved everything, right? At the same time. But I would say this, Chuck. I would say this, right? I would take Jodeci right now over New Edition.
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, without question.
Right. I would
Without
take
question.
Boys II Men right now over New Edition.
Listen, let me. I don't want to sidetrack and deviate, but can I say something real quick? Because certain things happen that just surprise you, and I'm just shout out to the chat, Mr. Vince, appreciate you, Triborough, all of y'all, man. Thank y'all for tuning in and supporting Freezy and the vibes and Chuck, Felipe 210, all of y'all. But Kareem Grant, man, listen, Kareem Grant. He always, whenever he jumps into anything I got going on, he always says, "What's up, twin?" You know, we got a chance to meet each other in real life.
Oh yeah,
But-
that Grant. Yeah, what's up, bro?
Yes, we got a chance to meet each other in real life. Very cool dude, and he always says, "What's up, twin?" You know, we share a lot of like-minded opinions. I don't know if we necessarily look alike, but we share a lot of like-minded opinions. And I thought, to me, this was the craziest thing when he said it. I can't even believe it. He said, it would be Ralph for his wedding if he had to choose one of them to sing. But what he said was, "When I'm With You" by Tony Terry would be my song for my wedding, right?
Right.
And the irony about that is my wedding song was supposed to be "When I'm With You" by Tony Terry. Gave it to the DJ and everything. The DJ said, "Don't worry about it. I got you."
Right.
Day of the wedding, the reception's going on. We're coming out to the first song. Dude couldn't find the Tony Terry.
But he did find Jeff Red. You called and told me.
Yeah.
I wish that would have worked better. He found Shania Twain.
Who?
Awesome.
Wait, we talking about Still the One I Love?
Yep.
I guess.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not a bad wedding song. It's not my wedding song.
Right.
But it was that night. So I just think that was funny that Kareem mentioned that. Just another thing, this little nuggets. But all right. Anyway, I
When I'm with you.
That's the
there
joint.
you go. That's
Man,
the
I
joint.
love that song. Yeah, I love that song. I did.
Yeah. And so there are, in my opinion, not to hijack the conversation, but I think there are so many groups from the 80s that are better than New Edition. I think we have recency bias. Like if somebody asked me what group I would prefer from the 80s over New Edition, I gotta consider groups like the Gap Band. Right? I have to consider them. Right? I have to consider groups from the 80s. There are so many. I have to consider Guy. Right? I have to consider Levert. I have to consider Levert. I don't think Levert is better, but I think they're in the conversation.
I can see that, Freeze. I see it. It's written all over your face.
Yeah, Rude Boys.
Hmm?
Rude Boys, yeah.
A spinoff of Levert, man.
Of Levert, yeah. I have to consider a group that I think is better for multiple reasons. I think a group named Troop is better than New Edition. And the reason why I say that is because while New Edition was in the club party and Troop was writing and composing, producing their own music. Now is Troop's best slow jam as good as New Edition's best slow jam? Probably not. But is their up tempo stuff just as good as New Edition? I would say yes.
I could agree with that. The up tempo stuff.
Yeah.
And as I told you, man, I think their biggest hits are remakes. Even though they sang them, like, I honestly think All I Do Is Think of You was sung much better by Troop than it was by the Jackson 5.
Right.
Like, Troop killed that song.
Murdered it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and obviously, you know, I mean, to me, the biggest hit is Spread My Wings. I mean, that's my joint. I don't know.
Right.
You know, but like, yeah, I see where you're going with it. I just don't know, man. I think, is it because you just don't like that popcorn bubblegum sound?
No, I think popcorn bubblegum sound is always going to be around. You have to have it because you have to have diversity on the radio. You have to have it. Everything can't be country or hardcore rap. You have to have something to lighten the mood. You got to have stadium songs. You know what I'm saying? You have to have songs like that. My deal with New Edition is they don't have a real template. Like they're a copycat group. Right? They're a copycat group. They're a copycat of a copycat of a copycat. Tell me if you heard this before. 4 background singers that can harmonize and can dance. The lead singer is a young, light dude that sings in a high tenor voice. Charismatic with the crowd, right? The girls go crazy. And when Frankie Lyman and the teenagers walk to the edge of the stage, the girls go crazy and faint. And watching Frankie Lyman and the teenagers is a group called the Jackson 5. Like, we got to be just like, look at Frankie Lyman. Oh my God, the girls are going crazy. They chanting his name. And so they have the young eye candy singer that's younger than everybody else singing in a high tenor voice, appealing to the girls. And this group off of Jive sees that and builds their model off of the Jackson 5. And so when people hear High Five, they go, oh, wait a minute. Y'all thought I was going to say New Edition, right? Everybody is copycatting the original copy of something. New Edition is not original. They are a copy of a copy of a copy. Does it work? Yes. But the first time you heard Ralph singing Candy Girl, even if you saw the New Edition movie on BET, the first thing we thought is, man, he sounds like Michael Jackson. You did not say, man, this group looks original.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean, you're right. But we kind of already, we recognize that from the beginning that they were a modern version of, and I think that's where, even with the copycat thing, that's really what we, the lightest version of it, the most PR version of it is they're a modern version of. So we don't have the Jacksons we don't have the Jackson 5 anymore. They're the Jacksons. And
right.
Then after that, they're Michael by himself, right, and Jermaine with a couple of songs. So they, New Edition came in and they filled the gap, especially right, for the audience of girls from the age of
12, 10, whatever.
Right. And then, even the guys that, like, again, like, I mean, I'm a product of that, as far as, learning how to perform and stuff like that. New Edition would be some of the stuff that I looked at prior to anything else. because of again, them being in the 80s, where I can actually visualize and see everything, especially with style, because I can identify with it, the basketball courts, as opposed to, you know, the Jackson Five, doing their routine on a stage basically their entire life. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
But
there is an element that, New Edition brought that was very much relatable in that era, specifically to the inner cities. So, urban fans can actually get with them and, oh wow, you know what? They're just like me, you
right.
know? And I think that's something that, again, I look at and got to give them credit for. They made R&B relatable to guys that were, living basically like them, project kids or urban kids that had the talent, maybe multiple interests, um, definitely chasing girls and wanting to find a way to express themselves in some capacity.
Right.
So I think for me, that's kind of what New Edition, cultivates, what they bring. And, I couldn't get that from,
What version of New Edition? Are you talking about the Mike? Are you talking about the Jackson 5 copycat? Frankie
yeah,
Lyman and the Teenager copycat? Or are you talking about when they added Johnny Gill and became the Temptation copycat? Because it's two versions of New Edition.
no, I'm speaking specifically of the modern Jackson era
Okay.
type of, yeah, because I didn't really at that point, it was about the showmanship, it was about the harmonies. When it got to, Johnny Gill being a part of it, okay, now with Johnny Gill being a part of it, it's really about the actual
Now they sound like the
song.
Temps. Now they sound like the
Right.
Temptations. Right. I got you.
But wait a minute, hold on, Freezy. Do you give them credit for being individuals and having their own personality and trying to break away from the machine? Because Bobby Brown broke away from the machine. It was his prerogative. He turned what he turned what was the bubblegum situation into something different. And he, because of that, he spawned something. He kind of ushered in the whole New Jack Swing era. So then BBD, you know, you could say, okay, maybe they wanted to be hip hop artists, but they knew what their bread and butter was. I mean, they don't have that necessarily great talent rapping, but they did their thing, and they had, Ronnie who could sing, so they had that R&B hip hop element to it, which you could say that they were a pioneer in that too. There wasn't many groups that were successful doing that combination.
Right. I'm
So
I'm with you on it. My thing is the reason why I have beef with people that stand for New Edition is not that they stand for New Edition, it's that they stand for Ralph. Right? That's what bothers me. Because New Edition at its essence is Belle Biv DeVoe. The first time you heard New Edition, you heard the beat. The beat to Candy Girl is hip hop. That's what hip hop sounded like in the early 80s. And them dudes sung over a hip hop beat. R&B then sounded like Patrice Rushen, Shannon, Evelyn Champagne King. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But then when you hear Candy Girl come on with the drums, Candy Girl, that's Belle Biv DeVoe. That's a Belle Biv DeVoe sound. Hip hop smoothed out on the R&B tip with a pop feel appeal to it. That's Belle Biv DeVoe. That was Candy Girl. That's Mr. Telephone Man. Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, and Mike. If I like the girl, who cares who you like? That's Belle Biv DeVoe. When they transferred to featuring Ralph, New Edition put out 3 albums that you wouldn't be able to find them in a strip mall right now. Right? New Edition was so trash from 88, 85 to 88, they had to go get Johnny Gill. Because they was featuring Ralph Tresvant and nobody wanted to hear the Black Phil Collins. Who want to hear the Black Phil Collins? Nobody, bro. If I want to hear Phil Collins, I'll just go listen to Genesis.
Or take it
Hello.
back to Chicago.
Or I feel you. I see you. I see you. I see you. But New Edition put out 3 albums, and I bet you nobody can name them albums right now. Between 85 and 88, nobody can name them albums where Ralph Tresvant was getting featured. Ralph, it's you and them guys. Bobby gone, so Ralph is just you and the 3 guys. Where them albums at? I know y'all not spending y'all Apple Pay money on that. I know. Chuck, do you have those 3? Chuck Allen is a music connoisseur, an expert in music. Chuck Allen can go pull out an album from 1978 right now, and I'm asking Chuck. I will cash app Chuck a crispy $1 bill if he can go in the room and pull out those 3 New Edition albums.
I'll be honest. The only one I can remember was the one where they did a lot of remakes. Under the Blue, was it? Or Under the Moon?
Yeah, that was horrible.
What about the 2 before that? Exactly.
Was it All for Love?
But y'all standing for New Edition. What are we doing? If we standing for New Edition, we supposed to be knowing this stuff.
That's what I said. All for Love. Under the Blue Moon.
Ron, can I get some help? Can I get some help?
Listen,
Ron?
but that's how good the group is, that I can forget those 3 albums and still point to hella music that they did. Yeah, those 3 albums, you are right, Freezy. I do not listen to them albums. I don't listen to them songs. They're not even on my playlist.
You forget, you consciously forget about those albums because they were so trash.
That is a fact.
Right? That's when Ralph Tresvant was featured. That is my beef with New Edition fans. New Edition fans will tell you Belle Biv DeVoe would not have survived without Ralph Tresvant. But when there were 2 songs in the country, right? The number 1 song in the country was a song by K Solo called Tell Your Mom the Mind of Business. And number 2 was a song called Sensitivity, right?
Mm-hmm.
They were 1 and 2 for weeks until Johnny Gill came out with a song called Rub You the Right Way. Rub You the Right Way became number 1. And then it was Rub You the Right Way, Been Around the World by a lady named Lisa Stansfield, right? And the K Solo song, still on the charts, right? They stayed that way. Allison Williams had a song called Just Call My Name off of Def Jam. Just call my name and I'll come running. Y'all remember that?
Yeah.
And Suzanne Vega had a song, Uncle Tom's Diner, the remix by DNA. Anybody? Those songs came out and they knocked Sensitivity and Rub You the Right Way off, right? Belle Biv DeVoe released a song on a Sunday night, Monday morning called Poison. And it knocked all those songs. It shot up the charts so fast that nobody even remembers Lisa Stansfield. Nobody remembers Sensitivity. Don't need a man that'll give you money. Nobody remembers that. Nobody remembers Queen Latifah. Nobody remembers none of that stuff. All they remember is from then on, Belle Biv DeVoe was the hottest thing in the industry, off and running.
That is 100% facts, Freezy. I am not going to lie to you. At that time, when that came out, I believe it was in the summer, my cousins had slept over. It came on Friday night videos, and we lost our mind.
Right.
So that is a fact. That is true.
But wouldn't that be having to given? But wouldn't you have to give New Edition props for that? Because I mean, they were spawn of that group, even if it is without Ralph Tresvant being the lead.
What I'm saying, DSJ, is those little boys came up together, and what I'm saying is all the members of that group deserve credit. New Edition stands say is a lot of them say is Ralph Tresvant and then everybody else. They watch the New Edition movie and they say it's Ralph and everybody else. But when Ralph was featured, Ralph did. Think about this. right? When you listen to a Ralph Tresvant album, is it good all the way through, or does it sound like the same song over and over and over again? Because my man doesn't have the flexibility, so to speak, of an artist that can do multiple stuff.
Nah, it does sound the same. I'll give you that. It absolutely does sound the same. It's like a Babyface production in the 80s. It sounds the same.
It's like John B, right?
They don't know about this.
Hold on now. Even though John B's, songs may sound similar, I'll take a John B album discography over Ralph Tresvant any day of the week.
Wow! Oh
Any
my
day of the week.
God!
Oh, we'll do what now?
I will take John B's discography over Ralph Tresvant any day of the week. Any day of the week.
No, you didn't.
He might have more songs because I mean 7 will always beat 2, but I mean the impact on it. I mean without Babyface, someone to love.
God, what am I hearing?
Without Babyface, of course, but he had Babyface. Without Babyface is a different. But you know what? That song "Now That I'm With You" is a phenomenal song, and I don't think Babyface produced that.
Okay.
So whoever produced
Pleasures You Like is a very slept on album. I thought
Yes,
it was
it
definitely
is.
one of his best work.
That's
Yes,
the
it
joint
is.
with the up tempo joint, the club joint, right?
Yeah, don't talk.
Yeah.
That listen, I'm just saying, John B did his thing. He had his moment.
So he is better than Ralph Tresvant.
As a solo artist, I believe so. And look, sometimes you get guys that they stand out in a group because their voice is so different from everybody else in the group. But when you make them solo, it ain't really rocking the way you thought it. It's like, for example, NWA.
Right.
NWA as a group sounds great. You got the dynamic voices, all the
concentrated energy. It's concentrated.
I honestly don't want to hear Eazy-E by himself. Rest in peace, Eazy-E. But that's me. So I think that kind of plays into it with Ralph Tresvant. There's only certain people that can make that work where they have a unique type of voice that it may be somewhat high pitched, but they can have a successful career, like Michael Jackson. And Michael Jackson's voice was high pitched when he was a kid, but once he got older, the voice changed a little bit. So that's what made it tolerable because he got a little,
that high tenor range.
Right, exactly.
It's tough as a man to be in that high tenor range. That's why you got to hit that sweet spot when they're young. It's the reason why I would say consider a High Five album even with a New Edition album. It's the same template. It's just Frankie Lyman and the Teenagers all over again, moderned up. That's all it is. And we give New Edition credit for creating something. When they created nothing, they copycatted twice. When they were boys, they copied Frankie Lyman. And when they were men, when they went from boys to men, they copied the Temptations. Think about if they were originals, they would have been able to produce more stuff. But when you're a copycat, you can't produce more stuff from the original because you are copying something else.
But in fairness, Freezy, and I'm gonna let I want Chuck to weigh in on this one. In fairness, a lot of our favorite artists are copycats. They sign to these big record labels. The record labels see a talent in them, and they say, "Listen, I can make this person that easy, and this person has the talent to see it through." For example, Whitney Houston, who is a phenomenal voice, but can't write a hit to save her life. She's not a writer. She didn't write. She sang what other people wrote, right?
Right.
She didn't even. So, and when I say she's a copycat through and through, when she came out, her whole persona, her style, I want to dance with somebody. That's like Debbie Gibson. That's like,
Yes.
you know what I mean? That's Tiffany. That's like that style, that pop
era.
style,
Right.
that era. Right. So she jumped right into that. And then when they said that she wasn't R&B enough, she wasn't black enough, she got with Babyface, and then it was some other style. It was more of a
I'm Your Baby Tonight. Remember, she had
Like
to be
a-
edgy.
yeah, like it was turning into like an Anita Baker type style, even though the voices are totally different. But you know what? I was gonna say more like yeah, like yeah, I would say like an Anita Baker at that time who was out.
Yeah,
But it was definitely that type of style. Like it was always patterned after somebody else because it was a blueprint that they tried to follow. They just
like Luther
throw you
Vandross.
right. Luther Vandross is another example. Definitely another example.
A
That
copycat.
couldn't write a hit to save his life. I don't even know if he ever wrote one song. Every song
No.
was written for him, and then he did a whole
Richard
bunch
Marx
of
and Burt Bacharach.
correct Burt Bacharach, yes, and then he did a whole bunch of you know the like tribute albums, the crooner stuff,
The covers.
the covers. Yeah, that's it.
Right. Like I heard Superstar Until You Come Back to Me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when I was a kid, I was like, dang, this sounds like something. See, we didn't have technology then where I could press the Shazam button and Shazam would find a song for me. But I was like, dang, Superstar Until You Come Back to Me sounds so familiar. And then I saw Lisa Fisher. Y'all remember Lisa Fisher?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I saw Lisa Fisher perform it, and I was like, Aretha Franklin.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna tap on your door. I'm gonna rap on your window pane. And I was like, that is Anita. I mean, that's Aretha Franklin. That was a smash by Aretha Franklin back in the early 70s.
Yep.
And so Luther copycat. But listen, on this New Edition thing, bro, New Edition is so overrated, it's ridiculous. Without
let me say this before you go on your rant, and then I will fall back. I just want to. Whitney Houston wasn't necessarily a copycat; she was just told what to do
Because she was young.
Because she was young, and Clive Davis is that guy that got hooked into a network of the best singers ever. Sissy Houston, Aretha Franklin, Whitney Houston. So they had an image and a style. When the producer has those credits, especially back in the day, when they had those credits of those number ones, it was you go in there and what the producer say, do you do. That's why all Babyface songs sound the same, regardless of who's singing it. Because he goes, nah, don't sing it like that, sing it like this. And it kind of sounds like him, right? And you immediately when you hear, you're like, Babyface wrote this.
After 7, the Tony Rich Project, Johnny Gill, Tony Braxton, John B.
Yeah. Right. And not for nothing, that lone sound didn't do well for other people. Like it got them modest hits, maybe even the number one, but it didn't do well for other artists. It didn't keep their careers. Let me say that.
Right.
A lot of the singers, yes, if they could not write songs, the first thing a record label wants to do is get a hit out on you. What better than to find a popular oldie but goodie and have you do your best rendition or a remix to it, right? A lot of our favorite singers, especially from that era, they all covered other people's songs. For a very long time, I had no clue. I Will Always Love You was a Dolly Parton record.
Right.
For a very long time, I was like, man. And it was someone who was around, who knows, who was like, Dolly Parton sang that song years. And I think her version was better. And I was like, oh, okay, sure.
That's crazy, but continue.
Yeah. I was like, okay, yeah. But I say that to say, so sometimes you may uh, when we say like, oh, well, this artist um, copied, I think it was more implied behind the scenes. Like, this is what you need to do. Like, if any of you seen the movie Ray, when they first
Yeah,
got him in the studio,
yeah,
and it was like, man, he sound like Charles Brown. He sound like Nat King
Mhm.
Cole. He sound
yeah,
like whoever was popular at the time, because he knew that that was going to get people to listen to what he had to say. So
right.
um, that's all I'm going to say on that. But we can get back to how New Edition is tremendously overrated.
So, let me ask you this: do you think the problem with New Edition was because of their age, that they didn't have the opportunity or the ability to actually create their own sound, where there's no other influence from anybody else? Do you think that might be part of the problem in that regard?
No,
No,
Boston has a legit old school R&B sound. Like for instance, there is a group called the Transitions. I suggest everybody listen to this group called the Transitions. Right? It's an R&B group. It's a three-man group. Right? And they sound like what if Belle Biv DeVoe had three singers? You know what I'm saying? And they're from that Boston area. So Boston has a sound, right? It's the thing about New Edition though is I'm not saying they're not a top 20 group of all time. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that they haven't put out great music. I think I think Can You Stand the Rain is probably a top 500 song R&B song of all time. And top 500 people like, man, you dissing the song. No, think about all the R&B you heard in your life. Top 500, you know, you done heard more than 500 songs. I mean, come on. But easily, Can You Stand the Rain is a top 500 song of all time, right? But outside of Can You Stand the Rain, what New Edition song leaves an indelible mark on you forever?
Is this the end?
Well, I see that for you, TSJ.
Yeah, yeah. Party all the time, Eddie Murphy. I thought we were selling jokes. My bad.
And Is This the End? Isn't that a remake?
It's just the end of remake.
Isn't didn't the Jacksons do that?
Yes, they did.
Oh,
So
okay.
that
I was
yeah.
just,
Oh
yeah.
God. Yeah. I don't. Um.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Aside from that one song, what other New Edition song is it? Popcorn Love.
Candy
Popcorn
Girl.
Love. Is it Candy Girl? Candy Girl. Oh my word. I mean, would you take Candy Girl over You Are My Lady by Freddie Jackson?
No, but that's because of my preference to ballads over the mid-tempo, up-tempos.
I
So that's a preference thing for me.
I have a layup for you. I have a layup. Would you take Popcorn Popcorn Love over Ask of You by Raphael Sadiq? That should be a layup. That should be a
Hell
layup. That,
no.
that should be
Come on
easy.
now. Come
That's
on
easy.
now.
That's a one-off song that wasn't on an album. It's just a random song. Would you take Popcorn Love over Ask of You?
No
No,
way.
but
No.
but again, that goes right into what I
Uh,
was saying as far as discovering your own sound. Raphael Sadiq being part of Tony was a producer as well as a songwriter, so he was able to
and
cultivate
musician.
however you want.
And musician.
Right, so he was able to actually, this is what I want this song to sound. This almost like Sean Stockman in Vision of a Sunset.
Mm, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Beautifully crafted. Love the song. It's a one-off for Mr. Holland's opus. The same way
Right.
Ask of You was just for higher learning.
How you learn it right. Right.
But again, that song, it stands the test of time, to a degree. As far as being one of those songs when you hear it, oh man, yeah, I remember where I was when this happened, or when that song came on. You know
Okay.
what I mean? So
I got you. I got
Oh,
one for
oh,
you.
and Freezy, before you go, because I know you remember. just to tell you, if I'm being honest with myself, not saying people have their own thing. Uh, if I'm thinking about New Edition as a group, the songs that are synonymous with them that I love the most, it would be "Can You Stand the Rain" and "If It Isn't Love." If It Isn't
Right.
Love, even though it's up tempo, I mean,
Right.
they ain't nobody that don't like that song.
Right. I'm just all I'm asking is for everybody to be fair, right? Like for instance, would I take Popcorn Love or um Back to Life by Soul to Soul?
Oh no, come on, Freezy.
What?
Back to
I
life.
got one.
Back to life. No, no way. I'm not. Come on,
So,
man.
so why do we rank Popcorn Love so high
I don't.
if
I don't
it
rate
doesn't
Popcorn Love.
stand the test of time?
Would you take Popcorn Love or Dial My Heart?
Down my heart. Done.
Oh,
Easy.
Down My Heart by the Boys. Yeah, I
Yes.
take Down My Heart.
And because of the breakdown at the bridge, well, man says, "We can walk, we can talk on this bridge of love." When he say that, I'm like, "Oh, that's my joint.
I
That's
mean,
my joint."
but in fairness, it's only because I just don't find out of all those bubblegum songs that New Edition did, Popcorn Love ain't my number one. It's not even in the top category.
What's
Like, I
New
think it's
Edition's second best song then?
Well,
The joint
I
that
think
you
it.
just mentioned?
Yeah, If It Isn't Love. I mean, because of the song, the dancing, the breakdown. I just think people just love that song. Like when that song comes on, I don't care what you're doing. If you hear it, you bopping along with it. And if you're in a concert, it's one of the best things you can witness that New Edition does.
Even over "Not My Kind of Girl."
Yeah, no, definitely. When that song comes on and the beat does the people start going crazy off of that.
Yeah, that's a Jammin' Lewis SOS band song.
It is.
That's
It
a
is.
you could
It is.
anybody that could have been SOS band, that could have been Janet Jackson, that could have been anybody from Jammin' Lewis at that time.
This is true, but unfortunately, that's one New Edition being young and not having the necessary control to cultivate their career the way
And
they
talent.
might have liked, right? And the other thing is keeping it funky. I don't know if many of them had that creative, artistic ability to begin with. Even Bobby, who knew the direction he wanted to go when he went solo, it's not like he wrote those songs.
Right.
He might have said, "Listen, I want something with a hip hop feel to it. I want something edgy. I like this," but that doesn't mean he helped write it, because they may not just have. Some people can be artists, but they don't have that type of artistry.
Right. I get it. And chat, I'm not saying this to just drive the conversation. Right. I'm a lover of R&B. DSJ and I spoke probably about 4 or 5 hours ago, really, about R&B. Like, I love R&B. I think the fact that we anoint New Edition as the king, as the best R&B group, to me is a travesty when there are other groups out there like Shalimar, like Troop, like Kool and the Gang, like High Five, like Guy.
I
that
think
have
I know why that, as you're mentioning those names, I can attest to why New Edition probably ranks higher than those guys. And it's not the talent, it's longevity. Because Shalimar lasted for what, maybe 2 albums, if
no,
that.
they had 5 albums, but the lineup changed a lot.
Right. So
You talking about the lineup that we know maybe did 3 albums.
right. See,
Right.
so yeah, with that in mind, it's easier to forget certain things, certain information, and overlook that for the fact that you have so many things that you can attach to the genesis of New Edition. So the New Edition, you have again Bobby Brown solo career, BBD, Johnny Gill. I know you said you don't want to attach him to it, but because he will always identify with them as well as everything else he's done, he's gonna be in that conversation. But then
Man, Johnny
again,
Gill identified with the check. Whoever cutting the check, that's who he identified with, bro.
Well, listen. I mean, I hear you, and I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that if you ask everybody who's a fan, they're gonna add him to that roster. They're gonna add him to that list, and then you have to look at again what Michael Bivins did beyond that with again Boys to Men being probably one of his biggest um spin-offs, as far as, being able to say, okay, I did this. And this has nothing to do with the rest of the guys over here. But because he's a part of, New Edition, they're gonna be linked to everything that comes from that as well, that tree as well. Even with them not sounding the same at all. Like Boys to Men is, by leaps and bounds better, better vocalists, but they're gonna be attached to New Edition just for the fact that the person that discovered them is a member of New Edition.
Now, Boys and Men is incomplete though. I don't put Boys and Men in. I don't think Boys and Men is better than New Edition because they're a mic stand group. You put the mic stand in one place, and they're gonna walk up to it and sing. That's it. Now, are they great at singing? Yes. Right. But they don't do anything else to make you rush out and say, oh, I'm going to go watch them in such and such movie, or I'm going to dress like Boys to Men. They don't present anything except for the vocal arrangements. And is there a crime in that? No. But New Edition had a swagger that made you want to follow them. Like these girls I used to holler at, they used to have Ralph Tresvant pens on their jean jacket. You know what I'm saying? The New Edition
And now you're seeing why they are considered the greatest group of all time. It's their impact on culture.
Right.
Because it's not just about music with them anymore, in regards to, we identify with them as a music group, but they've spanned beyond that to where culture, the way they dress, something that you can identify with. Again, like I said, visually for me, the fact that they, could do a video on a basketball court. So it spoke to the fact that I was such a huge hoops fan. Oh, these guys love basketball too, and they sing. So it felt like something that I could honestly be a part of and would want to be a part of.
And they had Jerry curls and shags in the back, and they wore
What-
spike belts and nameplates. They was doing the same stuff a lot of dudes on the streets was doing.
Unfortunately, I did have the shag, but I mean, I can't. What am I going to tell my father? No, I don't want this. I don't want this haircut. I better get what he pays for.
Right. Right. I'll say, so New Edition is iconic. I'm not saying that New Edition is a bad group. What I'm saying is, if you put everything in perspective, was Ralph Tresvant a great singer? I'm saying he was unique.
Oh no, he had the unique.
No,
he was
not at
unique.
all.
He had the unique voice.
Yeah, he was unique.
He fit the profile of that style
Right.
of singer that was
Frankie
popular
Lyman.
in a group. Yes,
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
But and another thing is, as you said, maybe Frankie Lyman and the Teenagers, they came out. Then we had the Jacksons. And
Right.
the Jacksons followed them.
Right.
But then New Edition followed those two groups.
Right.
But then New Edition became the group that everybody was following. Of course, it also helps that the same people were cultivating and making the groups, but still,
Right.
you got your NSYNCs, your Backstreet Boys, and
There were other groups too, though. Let's not forget Tavares. Let's not forget.
yeah.
No. Let's not forget Blue Magic. There was a lot of groups that followed that Frankie Lyman.
That's true too.
Template.
It's true.
You know what I'm saying? Because think about Blue Magic, Force MDs, Tavares, LTD, all these groups. The light-skinned lead singer with the unique voice, LTD.
Mm-hmm.
All these groups, they followed that Frankie Lyman in a teenager template. And remember, they were coming out of a soul, funk, black exploitation era where everything had to be heavy. You remember they came out the heavy era. Like 71, 72, 73, 74, 75. Y'all remember the movie Coolie High? Remember It's So Hard to Say Goodbye to Yesterday? Remember
yeah, of course.
Yeah. They came out of a heavy era. Tavares was like a penny for your thoughts, a nickel for your kiss, a dime if you tell me that you love me. You know what I'm saying? These dudes came out. They was bubblegum. They was pop. Don't forget about the Silvers. Anybody who? How can we forget about the Silvers? How can we forget about DeBarge?
DeBarge is definitely that group, but they I don't know if they fit the correct blueprint because they all had high pitched voices.
Yeah.
But yes, yeah. But
true.
they fit the Jackson blueprint because there was a singing family.
Right.
Yeah.
Like the Silvers, man. I mean, and so while I think it sounds blasphemous to say New Edition is not number one, but that's the reason why I'm here today, because people think it's blasphemous to say New Edition is not number one. I would take Silk over them right now. If I had to have a group sing at my wedding, would I take Silk or New Edition? Silk. Would I take Shy or New Edition singing at my wedding?
Calm down, Freezy.
Shy.
All right.
Calm down.
I'm just saying, bro. I'm just saying.
Calm down, Freezy. I like me some Shy, but calm down.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Now, don't get me wrong. Look, this is what I'll tell you, and this may be blasphemy to some people. If you told me, look, you're gonna be stranded, Ron, on a desert island, I'm gonna give you a choice. You could either take the New Edition catalog, and it's not fair though, because I would always take New Edition because of everything they got. But if you said just New Edition, that's one thing. But if you said New Edition, Bobby, BBD, it's hard because they got so much music. I need stuff to listen to. I'm stranded. But if it was just New Edition, I would take 112 over them.
Yes.
I would take Drew Hill over them.
Yes.
I would take Jodeci over them.
Jodeci.
Yeah, I mean, I would take any of them over them. But
I almost had a knee buckle moment. I almost said Jagged Edge. I almost said Jagged Edge just now, bro.
Let me tell you, Jagged Edge is very disrespected, man. I was listening to their catalog the other day. They got some joints, and the joints that weren't mainstream. They're a soulful group,
right?
And all of them can sing,
right?
But didn't their songs kind of started to sound the same a little bit?
Yeah.
Walked Out of Heaven.
They took BBD style, bro, and ran with it.
All of that kind of sounded like the same record over and over until Let's Get Married. Well, the remix, because even the original one kind of sounded like
I can't fault you there, Chuck.
Right, bro. I'm saying, I personally, I would take Intro over New Edition.
Just 2 albums?
I don't know if I could do that. I can't take a group when I'm only going to be able to hear one dude sing. I got to hear other people sing. Yeah, you got to see. That's why I respect. Some people didn't like 112 because they whine a lot, and when they perform live, it's a lot of screeching, whining and stuff. But let me tell you, all 4 of them dudes could sing. And when I found that out, I respected them. I said, okay, this is cool. Just like with Jagged Edge. I never thought Wingo and the other dude could sing. But then when I heard them sing, I'm like, okay, they're all right. They're not, the greatest, but they can hold the tune.
But they can sing a little bit.
Yeah. So I'm like, I respect that.
Right. Now I get what you're saying there, bro. But if
that's what I just wanted to say. And then when you look at a group like Jodeci, I respect them because even though the 2 brothers couldn't sing, Dalvin and Devontae, KC and JoJo sang the pants off of people. So they made up for that because it was so good.
Dalvin can actually sing.
Yeah, Dalvin can.
I've seen him harmonized. I never heard him sing.
No, he can blow. he actually, matter of fact, if you remember the song,
Off the first Jodeci
Good
album.
Love, Good Love, he's featured on the second. He's featured on the second verse.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah, that's Dalvin.
Oh, I gotta hear that again. I gotta check that out. Okay.
Yeah, the it's just a habit. You know I gotta have it every time I see you. That's Dalvin, and it
I did not
surprised
know
me
that.
when yeah
Right.
when I heard that I was like, man, JoJo sound different
Right.
until I saw it live, and
Right.
I was floored
Right.
Wow.
because the whole
And
time I was like, this Bill Bellamy looking
yeah.
stole T-Boz away from me, and now you, oh, he can sing.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna shut up now.
And the Jodeci style is Mr. Dalvin.
Oh,
Everything,
that yeah.
everything that you see, the way they look is Mr. Dalvin.
Yeah, he is the creator of that style. He's everything to them. The only thing he didn't have his hand in for the most part was the initial look of them. Because you got to give credit to Diddy for the all black and the leather and all right. But after that, yeah, music, the vocal arrangements, everything. Yeah, I knew he did all of that, and I knew he could harmonize because I heard him. I saw them doing a making of one of them Jodeci songs that I was like, what? And I heard him like harmonizing and telling them to do this. I was like, oh, this dude's nice. That's when I knew.
So okay, let me ask you this. So you got three singers, but all are questionable, right? But you have to pick one. So it's Ralph Tresvant, Albie Shaw, and Christopher Williams. Which singer is the best out of that group?
Christopher Williams.
Christopher Williams.
In a runaway, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not even close. Every time I ask somebody, who would you prefer, Tony Thompson or Ralph Tresvant? Everybody is like Tony Thompson.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
Right. So I can't. For all these reasons, everybody said all this stuff, and we still say New Edition is number one.
Well, I never said they were number one, but they're definitely a favorite.
Right.
They might be. They're top 5 in my opinion. They top 5. I don't know if they're number one, but they top 5. I would think.
They might be 17 on my ranking.
Yeah.
But it also depends on how open-ended the rank that your grouping is. When you narrow it down to say if it's young groups like 90s and on or 80s, like it depends on how you do it. Because if you say all time with all them groups that is out there, the Spinners, the Temptation, it's tough. You can't. It's just
you can't put New Edition up there.
There's too many.
You can't even say New Edition and Jackson 5 at the same time.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, you can't say Frankie Lyman in the Teenagers versus New Edition. Come, bro. The lead singer, the tall, light-skinned dude, the dude that looked like he underage, the bass man, and Frankie Lyman in the Teenagers. Bro, that dude could harmonize. He's like Blue from the Temptations. They bass man. He would just come in, baby, just doing bass, and Frankie Lyman would sing over the top of that as if somebody was playing a stand-up bass in front of him. Frankie Lyman and the Teenagers, bro, over New Edition. I would say New Edition is definitely top 20, but let's not act like since they're in the top 20, they number one. I mean, come on. I mean, who would I?
They can't not be top 5, Unc. I mean, if you consider everything, they got to be top 5. Now, if you just saying New Edition alone as a group, no, I don't even know if I'd make them top 10 or top 15 just as them as a group. But the spinoffs and everything else, that's tough, man. That's a lot. That's a lot. I don't know. The impact is huge.
So you're basing it off the legacy.
The legacy and the fact that they did sing, once they split up as a group and did their own solo stuff, it's still them.
Right.
That's how I'm looking at it. I don't even want to. I could take the credit of what they birthed after, like Boys to Men. I can take that all aside and take it out of the equation.
Okay,
Just what they did.
New Edition or the Whispers.
Oof. Mm.
The Whispers.
That's easily the Whispers. I think even with the idea of comparing like something like that, I probably would want to relegate it to where, again, New Edition was birthed. So it would be like New Edition versus like, and not being funny, but like Menudo, because of the fact that of age, of the age.
I would say New Edition versus Total.
Total. Bad Boy Total.
I thought you meant Toto. Toto.
I thought Toto too. That's why I asked.
No, Total watched them. Total watched them, bro.
99 left that balloon. No, I didn't know where you was going.
Georgie Porgy Pudding Pie, Kiss the Girl that made her cry. Yeah. Now I would say New Edition versus 702.
Oh, come on, man! This
Well,
show's over.
no.
It show's over.
Was like that for you.
I'm just messing around, man. But I mean, and I would say this. You said top 5, right? If I name 4 other groups, can we officially move them out of the top 6?
Let me hear it.
Kool in the Gang,
Okay.
the Gap Band. Look at their catalog, just real quick. Like, you don't have to do it on the spot. Just Google a catalog and look at their songs in the 80s alone. They washed New Edition. I was listening to a song and Charlie Wilson was going on. Bone rubber on me. I like, yo, that was a thing. You dropped a bomb on me, baby. You dropped a bomb on.
I'm still gonna go back to the instrumentation and the style of songs seem to be lacking, and that is what penalizes New Edition, because New Edition got hits, but the replay value after a certain point, it kind of goes away. Like, you ain't gonna hear it at a club, a R&B club. You may hear a New Edition song, but it'll be like "Can't You Stand the Rain" or something. You ain't gonna hear "Cool It Now." They're not really playing that. Now the Gap Band, you could hear.
Yes.
You could hear some of these other groups like we mentioned. There's songs that they got that just it's a
Once
a
you
more,
get the Gap Band album 3, you remember "Yearning for Your Love"?
Mm-hmm.
Keep running.
Yep.
I mean, come on.
My heart is yearning for your love. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
come on, bro. Why is it even a competition? Burn Rubber. I mean, come on. That's Gap Band 3.
You know what I'm gonna say, Freezy, and this is probably the most honest thing I can say about it, is I think that if you were around during the time, because when New Edition came out, I was really young. I didn't know nothing about no music back then. So I couldn't really appreciate them in their initial "Cool It Now" and all that stuff when they was really dropping. Some people, that was their childhood. Like, they got moments off of it, so it resonates with them. I don't have that same feeling. So it's easier for me to say, as I got older, hearing "Yearning for Your Love" or "Outstanding," like those joints, like, that's different for me. I get it.
Just put New Edition. What's New Edition's best song?
I guess
The Gap Band's best song to me is "Outstanding." Right. Take New Edition's best song and put it up against New Edition's best song, and the winner earns the spot.
I can't do that. I mean, Gap Band's gonna win that. "Outstanding"
Chuck,
is a beast.
Chuck, if New Edition's best song is not better than the Gap Band's best song, shouldn't the Gap Band earn that spot? Because clearly the number of albums and longevity, that's up for grabs depending on your liking. Like, so I'm at an age where I like the Gap Band better than I like New Edition. So my preference is the Gap Band.
I don't know if that signature. I don't know if the signature song argument is fair, considering would be the same debate we had about Marvin Gaye and R. Kelly and I was speaking in regards to, and even me and Chuck had that conversation. But to relegate it to the vibes and stuff show that we did a while ago,
Okay.
I said for me Marvin Gaye has two signature songs, which would be "What's Going On" and "Sexual Healing." With
Mhm.
R. Kelly, I don't know what his signature song is immediately because there's so many of them. You could say "I Believe I Could Fly," but then
Right.
what? Then I could sit there also and say, well, that would be a disrespect to um Ignition, the remix, or that'd be a disrespect to Honey Love, or that'd be a disrespect to um Your Body's Calling Me.
Well, I
There's so
mean,
many.
but I believe I can fly was the top selling song of his career, right?
Right. But again, I mean, just for the fact that that's not usually in his wheelhouse. When you
Okay.
talk R. Kelly, you don't associate inspirational songs. It's something that he's capable of doing. But again, with Marvin Gaye, it's the same. Like I said, it's the same thing. Like that might not be the first song you think of when it comes down to R. Kelly. You'll probably think more the secular songs than "I Believe I Can Fly." But immediately, like I said, those two songs, "What's Going On" and "Sexual Healing," be the first thing that comes to mind when you say Marvin Gaye.
I always think I heard it through the grapevine. By the way,
Well, hey, listen, but that's not his. That's
doom, 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 doom. Yeah, I know. I understand. I understand.
but see,
Yeah,
even but,
yeah.
but even the fact that the argument that's there, like again, when we had that debate, we were speaking of R. Kelly being better because of the fact that he had multiple hits.
Right. Right.
But I said that Marvin Gaye spanned what R. Kelly couldn't do, which is he had signature songs. And in regards to it, a signature song could always just be, it more is directly one song, but because you had one in the inspirational side and one on the secular side, and both of them really kind of resonated his career. And it's funny because they resonated his career on different labels, because Marvin Gaye's "Sexual Healing" was on CBS Records, while "What's Going On" was on Motown,
Okay.
right?
Mhm.
But at the same time, that's the same thing with New Edition. New Edition, you're fishing for, okay, well, what's their signature song? We can immediately say, okay, "Outstanding" is the first thing that comes to mind with the Gap Band. And when it comes, and I'll be honest with you, when it comes down to the Gap Band, that's obviously the first thing. That and "Yearning for Your Love." But you know what also associated with cookouts?
Yep.
That's my uncle's song while he's on the grill. Hey, turn that up, nephew. That's what I immediately go to.
Right.
Mhm.
When I think of Gap Band. When it comes down to New Edition, though, I think about parties, my age, and we're talking about everywhere I went to. If it was a family member, a family friend, if we're going to one of their parties, all in that age range, New Edition was definitely in that rotation. Someone in that household had a New Edition record, and that was always a go-to. So I don't know about having an actual signature song, but I know that they were a signature as far as in every party from kids in the 80s, which speaks again to just the legacy, what they bring to the table, what New Edition means to a lot of us, where we can even rank them. I mean, again, they're not the Delphonics, they're not the Shy
Mhm.
Lights,
No,
you know, they're
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 not the
they're not
spinners. They're not the OJs. They're
right.
not the whispers.
And we know these guys, so it's not even like, okay, well, because we're in the 80s, and we're kids in the 80s,
They're
we've
not
never heard
Atlantic
of.
Star. They're not Midnight Star. They're not the Gap Band.
But they mean something to a lot of us because of the impact that they had during that time that they came out in the 80s.
Okay.
So
DSJ.
That's why they'll always be ranked as high as they are, because as far as talent goes, again, the groups that you mentioned are a more talented vocally, or more vocally talented than New Edition are. But what they stand for in the era of the 80s, that's where you would go to immediately. New Edition.
Let me ask you this, DSJ, because I understand where you're going, right? But say a life raft only has 6 spaces on it, and you have to sing your way on it. Do you think you can outsing a member of New Edition to get on that life raft?
I'd leave it up to y'all. I'll let y'all decide
No,
that.
no, no. I'm asking you. Do you
'Cause
think you
I
can
don't.
outsing? Do you think you can outsing Ron DeVoe to get on that life raft?
I would like to think so. Yeah,
Do you think you can outsing Michael Bivins?
I would like to think so. Yeah.
Okay, all right. And the second thing I wanted to ask, and this is a question for Chuck. Chuck, if New Edition was so good, how come nobody ever sampled their music?
Oh well, Busta Rhymes did sample Poison.
Poison,
Right.
that's Bell Biv DeVoe, but Bell Biv DeVoe was on it. If New Edition is so good, how come nobody sampled their
Okay.
stuff?
Okay.
I think because their sound was specifically 80s influenced, so you associate it more with the age. And I don't think people were looking at I'm a sample like you. I don't sample Count Me Out. I wouldn't dare think about sampling Candy Girl or anything like that
What
because
about
of
what about Poetic Justice? Kendrick Lamar sampled Janet Jackson. You ever
Right.
heard
Yeah.
that song, Poetic
But
Justice?
yeah, but as you said, that's Janet Jackson, and that's her at an adult age. So again, you can't, when you're trying to do an adult song, you wouldn't want to associate it with children.
It's a hard life for us.
It's a hard knock life for us. And what about Jay-Z Sunshine? Anybody ever heard that song Sunshine by Jay-Z?
Yeah.
I try to forget the video. Yeah.
Yo, they had a
Oh,
little
you didn't love
wild.
the shiny suits? The thief he is.
That wasn't it. That wasn't
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, if New Edition is so good, how come nobody sampled them? And Mace even said it, take tracks from the 80s. Yeah, yeah. You remember that?
Mm-hmm. Well, I
I'm
really
not
do
trying to
think
prove DSJ wrong. I'm just trying to say that New Edition is not top 5. That's it. They could be 7, and I'd be comfortable.
And see, even with that, like, Is This the End was sampled by that was a recent element on the song on Diddy's No Way Out album, and it featured Carl Thomas, Genuine, and Twister. Now the problem with that is, again, as far as the musicianship of our conversation, we already know that that's not the original. That's not an original song from New Edition.
Mhm.
But technically, because it is a rendition, and that's the rendition that they followed, the template that they followed in doing that sample, that resung element, then I kind of think that they did sample New Edition's song.
Bro, Spread My Wings got sampled in the same year. Spread My Wings, right? Spread My Wings and Fly Away to a Place That I Long For was sampled by Sybil on Don't Make Me Over in the same year. The joint was so fire, they sampled it in the same year. It's kind of like how Backseat of My Jeep was sampled by Monica like a year later. Boom, 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 boom. You remember Backseat of My Jeep, the swinging episode?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it was just one of them days.
Mm-hmm.
The backseat of my Jeep is priceless.
Yeah. I'm just arguing. Like, can we just say at New Edition can't be top 7? Oh, I honestly listen. If we all just say New Edition is top 8, I will promise to set this argument to the side for at least a week before I come back and say New Edition is not top 12.
Well, I mean, I had him ranked at 17, so I don't know.
I mean, yeah, yeah,
Uh, I think New Edition as a collective is. I still think they top five as a collective of the impact and what they did, and what they branched off into. Yes. Do you say that they had made like really transcendent hits? Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe there's not them songs, too many of them songs that you like, you know, when I hear this song, that's my jam. Like, I don't know. I don't know if they've made a lot of those.
right. Like they ain't made no joints. Like um, After the Love Is Gone by Earth, Wind and Fire. I remember being at the sixth grade dance, and Mr. Williams put on After the Love Is Gone. He was like, "Hey, go ask her." Because I used to clap. It's the dude that told me that the Knicks traded Clyde Frazier, and I cried in school.
I remember that. Yes.
I cried, bro. I cried like a baby just for Jim Clemens. But anyway, my man put on After the Love Was Gone. I was like, "Yo, when am I gonna know?" He was like, "Yo, I'm a clear at the dance floor," and he snatched the record off. Yeah, I remember Do the Hustle, do the hustle, do. He snatched it off and then put on After the Love Is Gone, right? And Maurice White is like, oh at the beginning of the joint, and I'm like, oh, that's my cue, right? I grabbed Latanya from Fulton Street, and we was on the middle of the day. See, New Edition don't have no joints like that for me, man. Aside from maybe Can You Stand the Rain?
But in like I said, in fairness, for some people, it they do have songs that take them back to a moment, like Mr. Telephone Man. You know, some people like that was their joint back in the day when they was trying to holler at something. Yeah, man, you know, I know that story. Something
Right.
wrong with my line. I was trying to call her. Yeah, I get a click every time. Some people resonate towards that. Some people resonate towards Cool It Now, you know, because they try to holler at people and their boys always ragging on them.
Right.
You know, some
Right.
people they resonate to that.
Right.
I was too young, so I couldn't really say that.
So you're in the home again. I mean, the Heartbreak era.
Yeah, I would say I'm
Oddly
more
enough,
than-
"Still in Love" was that prom song for me.
Hmm.
I got to be honest with you. Between the "Still in Love" and "Cupid" from 112, like those were my prom joints.
Was that Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Credit to them for being one of the all-time greatest producing team.
Right.
But again, they know what they're doing,
They do
and
know what they're doing.
they know how, how to bring out the best in groups like New Edition.
Right.
It's true.
Right.
It's true.
Man.
Yeah, this is tough, man. But I see. Listen, you definitely made a case, Freezy. A little bit more. It's a little bit more of a case now that you've had some time to lay it out there for me. All right. Hi.
I want New Edition to be top 10 so bad, but I can't put them there. I just can't.
I can't do. I wouldn't want to do that though. Again, as you said, and I think it's more important to recognize that too. If we're talking about just the span of the Motown era, I don't even want to go all the way into anything else, because at the end of the day, I only associate that's as far as my knowledge goes in regards to R&B, right? But the Motown era spanned the Smokey Robinson and the Miracles, the Temptations, right? You got the Jacksons, it's so many of those type of groups, right? The Shylights, the Delphonics, the Whispers, Four Tops. It's so many guys.
Why
The
you
Isley
always leave out?
Brothers.
Why you always leave out the Manhattans, bro? You don't like the Manhattans?
No, I like the Manhattans. But it's so again, but you see what I'm saying? It's so many groups to name that by the time you get to
You don't
New
like
Edition,
Yarborough and Peoples?
uh, not necessarily. I mean, I might like maybe a couple of joints from them, but it's not. Again, that's more preference. It's not a.
What about Blue Magic?
I mean, I listen to them too. LTD.
Harold
LTD,
Melvin and the Blue
Harold.
Notes, the
yep.
Blue Notes.
Yeah, but even that's the same thing.
With Teddy singing, not with Harold Melvin singing.
Yeah, but that'd be the same argument with New Edition in a grown man's version because Teddy Pendergrass was the voice.
Harold Melvin voice couldn't bust a cotton swab, right? But you got the dude on drums. Turn him off. Yeah, man.
That's a good point. Good point. I don't know, man. I'm gonna give you that, Freezy. Some of the people that you might have mentioned, I'm not gonna say they're better. Some of them might not be better to me than New Edition, but I will say you have made a case that there is better lineup of groups out there than what New Edition is. I could admit to that. That's
Chuck,
true.
who was your favorite male group of all time?
Of all time?
Yes, sir. The Commodores.
Ooh, the Commodores.
That's my favorite.
I didn't hear the name of the group. I couldn't hear. I'm sorry. I heard you, but I couldn't.
Chuck's like, I just gave you a rendition. I went through my ballot and you didn't.
Nah, I didn't mean that. And I just
No, I didn't really hear it either. It was low in my headphones, so I couldn't really hear.
So,
oh, there he goes. Yeah.
so gentlemen, since that's what we're doing tonight, I'm gonna go with. I'm definitely gonna go with the Spinners.
The Spinners. Oh yeah.
I mean, with you, Chuck.
The Spinners are incredible, Chuck. I would say the Spinners are an incredible group. So
right.
And I mean, there's so many groups.
I guess they'll be around.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. Chuck, I think I might be with you on that. And my favorite Spinners joint is a song called Cupid. It's a remake. It's a remake of a Sam Cooke song from the 60s. Cupid, draw back your bow.
Mm-hmm.
And let your arrow go straight to the lover's heart for me.
Now, here's a question I have for you now that you bring that up. Whose rendition did you like better? Did you like the Spinners version better or Solo's?
Solos.
Yeah. I like Solo's version better. That I think Solo is a group. Let me ask you this, DSJ, before we get out of here, just real quick. Who did you prefer? Who did you prefer better, Solo or the Rude Boys?
Solo.
So who did you like better, Solo or the Goodfellas?
Solo again.
No, yeah, Solo. I liked Solo. And that dude, the dude with the glasses, that voice was deep. It was like Bobby Womack deep with a raspiness to it.
Yeah.
I like that dude.
I liked him also. Do you like Solo better or Milestone?
Oh,
Solo.
Milestone is the best group that never happened, man.
No. I,
What?
I'll be honest with you. I don't
Hey,
think that was the best version of KC.
No, I didn't think so.
That song wasn't the best. That wasn't the best um version of KC for me.
Okay.
I think when it came down to the harmonies were great, but his part specifically made me say, "Nah, I don't want to hear no more. I'm good."
Wow.
Make sure that the lyrics weren't the problem. It's the rasp. It's the way he attacked it that made me say, "Nah, that's too rough. Not for that. Not for the type of song you're singing."
Yeah.
Everybody else is soft. It's a ballad. Here you come with that gruff. This this isn't Jodeci, sir.
Yeah. I think Kevon Edmonds might be the greatest singer of his generation.
There's an argument that you could pose for that. Yeah.
I honestly like. I think that Edmonds family is incredible, and I think the fact that you got three brothers that all sound different,
Right.
but all can sing.
All
I
consent.
I like I like the older brothers' voice as well. It's a shame that
Melvin. Yeah.
Melvin
Yeah.
that he had
Rest
to
in peace
deal
to Melvin.
with his issues. That yeah, that's a shame, man. Because and really, uh, it affected After Seven on the whole because they could have been so much better and so much bigger had he not had his vices that kind
Right.
of and shout out to them for doing an incredible job of for the most part keeping it under wraps. I mean,
Yeah.
people found out later, but they did a really good job of kind of hiding
A
his
lot of stuff.
issues.
Yeah.
So
Hey,
yeah.
here's some trivia for y'all. Did y'all know that Babyface wrote the song My" for After Seven? And because of that dude Melvin, he didn't show up. Johnny Gill was walking by. Babyface was like, "Hey Johnny, come here. Can you do a demo for me?" And he sung My" for Babyface. And Babyface submitted that to the record label. My"
Wow, I did
was
So
not
an
know
actually, yeah,
that.
After Seven song.
you told me that, and when I found out about that, I researched it, and I was like, wow, I was blown away. Just off
Yes.
the fact that
Yes.
again, availability is your best ability.
Facts. Although I will say, I could see Melvin singing that.
Right. I can see
And he
Mel.
wouldn't have done it the way Johnny did it, but I could
Right.
see him singing it and doing it, justice. It would have been a good song for them.
Bro, I heard them sing Taking My Time off the Taking My Time album. Or that's why when people tell me about New Edition, right, because I listen to songs on the album, like When a Fool Becomes a Man by Christopher Williams, right? Or Taking My Time by After Seven, or Lose Control by Silk, right? And then somebody tell me about Mr. Telephone Man. I'm like, man, if y'all don't get
Ooh, look at this. The Isley Brothers.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
man.
actually my
Mhm.
favorite group of all time.
Yeah, man, the
Mhm.
Isley Brothers. Yeah, man.
Mhm.
First song that made me fall in love with their sound was Voyage to Atlantis. Ever since then, I've all that's like the and I want to say I was maybe 8 years old when I first heard that song,
Right.
but that was a song that made me say I want to hear more from this group.
That's the sample for The Crossroads by Bone Thugs and Harmony, right?
Mhm.
The guitar lick,
Yeah. Mm.
Maybe it is.
I think
Freezy's
so.
good at that. He good at that, finding these samples. I think he might be right.
This stuff just could pop in my head just right away, bro. I don't even know why, bro. I wish I could turn it off and use my superpowers to help good. But
oh no,
you know what I'm
you
saying?
know what? No, the song that they sampled was "Make Me Say It Again."
Make Me Say It Again, Girl, Part 2. That's it, right?
Right.
Mm.
Make Me Say It Again, Girl, Part 2. That's it. Bro. Hey, fellas, I got to get out of here and get some rest, man. I got a long day tomorrow, man. I appreciate y'all coming through, hanging out. I love tapping y'all brains and talking music, bro.
This is dope, man. I love this because not only is it a good conversation because it makes you think, and you did a good job because we got to a certain point. Uh-oh.
Is that the Commodores? I can't tell.
The dude with the sunglasses looked like young Kanye West. No, I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't.
Before he lost his mind.
All right.
Could be.
Hey Chuck, who's that?
Oh shoot, you got me on that one. I did not know who that was. Okay.
Okay.
Sheesh.
That's what I'm saying. Chuck is the encyclopedia of music, bro. The one thing we know here is music, bro.
That's a fact.
The one thing we know is music.
And,
Hey,
and let me tell you. Oh, I'm sorry, Freezy. I was going to tell you when I was surprised when DSJ mentioned Menudo. I tell you, I had a Menudo album back in the day too.
Wow.
Quiet as kept, man.
Wow.
I had that first crossover album when they decided to start singing English music. Yeah. Anyway.
What?
Yep.
Different time. Yeah.
Matter of fact, I'll tell you what, my favorite song on that After 7 Taking My Time album was Can You Love Me Like This?
Wow.
Can he love you like this? Can he give you that good loving you need? Seal it off with a kiss. That was actually I actually learned that song and I started singing that to girls. And yeah.
Hey man. That's a good one to learn.
Yeah. It was a great one.
A great one. It paid dividends. Before we get out of here, do y'all have a secret song y'all want to share with the world that's your jam? That you think nobody else can remember? Or that's a slept on joint?
I already gave y'all one last time, and that's how good it is because I know that y'all slept on it after I gave it to you. I'm sure you didn't go back and listen to it. Right. Gave it to you. I said "Addicted" by Cisco. That song has got R&B written all over it. The transitions, the breakdowns. It's a good one.
No, that's on the Unleash the Dragon album. No, I actually was listening to that. It's funny. I listened to that album before you mentioned it. Just
there you go.
Getting a feel for it. Yeah. So yeah, I was always into that. That album was it was one of the best albums that came out in the 2000s for R&B.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I would say I got two more, and I'll just throw them out real quick. Would be one is not a sleeper. People who know, but there might be some young people who knows might check this out, and they not. My Heart Belongs to You by Jodeci is one of the greatest songs you could ever listen to.
That's my wedding joint.
That's my. Is it? Oh, that's a good one. That's my favorite. One of my favorite songs, man. If it could be my favorite. And then another one is being that you brought them up. I don't know what's the title. Is it How Do You Tell the One? Maybe it's How Do You Tell? I think it's How Do You Tell? After 7. That song is fantastic. The great job by Kayvon, how he gets his groove on in the song. And then at the end, when Melvin starts hitting the deep hot, yeah, man, that's a great song. It's a really good song.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, those are some great choices.
The Revolution.
All right. For me, I guess my one song that I know was slept on, nobody pays attention to it, is off the Boyz II Men Evolution album,
Prince.
Girl in the Life magazine.
What is it?
Girl in the Life magazine by Boyz II Men.
Wow.
Damn, look at that record though. Oof.
Jeez.
That's dope.
Yeah, Chuck got them joints, man.
Yeah, he do, man. Look at that.
I have one that I want to throw out there. I know y'all hadn't heard it. It's that group called The Transitions, right? And they have a song called Two Train, right? It's a song called Two Train by The Transitions. I was looking for it right now to see if I could find it to put it. Okay, let me see if I can find it. Okay, I found it. I want to put the link to it in the chat just for. And the other song is "Why Can't You Come Home" by Ex-Girlfriend.
Ex-Girlfriend. Mm-hmm.
Why Can't You Come Home? One more just before we get out here is a song called La 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 by Janae. I don't know if y'all remember them or not.
Of course, I remember Jeanne. The two short-haired ladies.
Salt and Pepper, yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, y'all. I'm gonna get out of here, man. I thank y'all for coming through, rocking with me, man.
Well, thank you for having us.
Hey, Chuck, what is that? Love is a Battlefield. Yo, Chuck got all the cuts. We know who's gonna be DJing, bro.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, yeah, look at that.
Yeah,
Pat Benatar.
yeah. What is that? That's on
Crank Call,
Chrysalis.
Billy Idol.
Chrysalis Records.
Wow, that's
Sheesh.
crazy. Chuck got
You don't
all the
happen to
magic.
have George Harrison? I got my mind set on you in there, do you? Oh,
Or what's the other George Harrison song? The it's Smash.
While my guitar gently weeps.
No, the one. It's a song after that.
I think it's on. I actually think it's on the B side of that 45. I could be wrong, but I think it was. I can't remember the name of it.
And Marvel put it in a movie. I cannot remember the name of it.
No, I can't remember it either. Damn it! Freezer gonna stump me now.
What is the name of that? George Harrison. I think it was on Guardian.
Not Let It Be. Hey Jude.
No.
Here Comes the Sun.
My Sweet Lord. My Sweet Lord. That's the name of it.
Gotcha.
Hey, Cully is in the building. Hey, Chuck, we're gonna wrap up and get out of here, man. Chuck, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hey, we're gonna wrap up, man, and get out of here, man. This was like a fat. What is that?
Oh, that's Barry Manilow. I could tell I
Okay.
could see the face as soon as he put him up there. Copa, Cabana, and Mandy.
Oh wow. Wow. All right, y'all. I'm gonna get out of here because I got a long day tomorrow, man. Thank y'all for coming through, man.
All right, take care.
All right, y'all.
Always a pleasure. Good night, y'all.